childcare is one of
It's
my biggest
expensive.
outgoings. Because sometimes when you look at how much you pay, you think, what's the point actually even, going to
Working.
work? You might as well just sit at home until your kids get to school age where you're not paying that
Yeah.
much in childcare.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Fab Mama channel. Today I am here with my friend Mami A. As you can see in the picture, she's a working mother of two gorgeous girls, and she shares her experiences as a working mom wrapped around financial freedom. So this video is going to is literally part one of two part series talking about childcare options in the UK, mainly in London, and we'll be talking about the pros and cons of the different options which we have used. And yeah, so stay tuned and enjoy, and look out for part two.
Talk about I'm just rambling. So tell me about yourself, a little bit about yourself in maybe like half a second.
Have a second. Oh my goodness.
Not so long, not so long.
Um, I'm
So who is
Fab Mama.
Femi? Who is Fab Mama? Yes, go on.
Kemi, aka Fab Mama blog, is a 30-something-year-old mom of two girls.
Not the kid.
I work full time. I look it. I look 30-something. Okay. But yeah, I'm a working mom. I work full time, and yeah, I blog about my experiences as a mom, a Nigerian mom living in diaspora, basically.
Okay.
You know, the highs and the lows of diaspora mama.
Okay, so let me tell you how I met Timmy. Timmy is someone I've stumbled on Instagram, and I was watching her and I was thinking, this woman looks her experiences are very familiar to mine. Working mom, full time, got two kids,
Yeah.
and trying to do the whole hustle and bustle of work-life balance, etc. So we've been planning to do this video for it's over a year. This girl, you know that.
Mm,
A
I
year
know
plus, actually.
the DMs. He gets down in the DMs.
So we are finally doing a
Yeah.
video where we'll be talking about our experiences with childcare and comparing the different options of childcare, pros and cons, as well as cost as well. So for you, in terms of childcare options, which ones have you used the most?
The ones I've used the most is Childminders. I've used Childminders. I've used Nannies.
Okay.
The
So,
stories behind that, and
we're
I've
gonna
also used nurseries.
nursery as well. So we're gonna do we're doing a comparison between.
Oh, sorry, Childminders v Nannies.
So over to you. Your pros and cons between nursery or childminder, right? Or is it? No, wait.
Childminder and Nannies.
Childminder versus nannies. Okay. So what are your? So what do you
Yes.
feedback? Let's chat. What are
Okay,
your pros and
feedback.
cons?
So let me start with childminders. That's my preferred option. I prefer childminders because, and this would then feed into the pros of childminders for me. It's home away from home, because a childminder is someone who takes the children into her own home, and she takes care of them for you, and then you go to work, come back, pick them up. So it's home away from home because it's our house, and then you can bring your child's blanket, you can bring their toys. They have a bit of familiarity within this person's house. Then the other pro that I like about childminders is different childminders. Some of them might have they might only take babies. Some might take school children and babies. So if you have two children that are different ages, then they can both go to that same childminder. Unlike in a nursery setting where they only take a certain age, maybe 0 to 5, and then you can't have your 6-year-old going to school, also going to nursery. That makes sense. But in those cases, that childminder would have assistants that work for her because of the child carer ratio. So those are the two key pros for childminders. For nannies, the number one pro is the fact that the child remains in the house. So they have their routines, they have their beds, they have their toys, they have everything that they're familiar with. And it also helps the parents with their commute. So when I had a nanny, for example, I would leave the house at 7 o'clock sometimes, or 7:30, but my nannies would normally start at 7 anyways. The only downside with that is 7 o'clock is when they wake up, rather than, oh, you're starting work at 7, you should have woken up before then. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a struggle, but yeah, that would be a pro for nannies. The other thing with nannies is it seems a bit cheaper when you have more children. So because you're paying that nanny a certain amount of money per month for her to care for your children. So it would be cheaper than a childminder who charges per child or per hour, per day, depending on how they charge. Now for the cons. Oh, another thing with childminders is when you compare that to nannies, a pro is the social interaction. So your child will have that social interaction with other children with the childminder, unlike when they're with a nanny who's just one person. So that then comes into the con of nannies. So with nannies, because it's just one person with a child, there's that, there's always that security, the risk that this person might maltreat your child. There's no other person around them that they're accountable to all day. Your child is with them, so you have to trust that person to take good care of your child. So I mean, if you don't trust them, you can install cameras. I have cameras all over the place. When I used to have nannies, except upstairs in the rooms, there are no cameras, so there's still that safety risk that they bring them upstairs and they whack them and you have no idea what has happened during the day. So that would be a number one con for nannies. Number two is they do not listen to you. Like, nannies never follow the routine. They just go, they do their own thing. It depends on the kind of nanny you get. If it's a nanny that has a lot of experience, they'll be set in their ways, and they would rather go by what they already know, except maybe food, if you have to cook for them and stuff. For the child, then they'll just take the food and warm it in the microwave. But that's one thing I struggled with having nannies.
Did you put down like a list of task activities that you want the nanny to do for your kids, and they literally, I'm guessing you can't really police that, so it's basically at their own discretion, whatever they want to do, that's what they do. Okay.
Exactly. And so I'll give you an example. I had a nanny once that I told her, okay, on Mondays you go to the library, on Tuesday you go to the park, I had a full list and time. This is the time the baby eats, this is the time. I think the only thing she remembered was food. That was the only thing she followed. Park. Oh, did you go to the park today? It was cold. Oh, it was rainy. I'm like, you're supposed to still go. It shouldn't stop you. Just take an umbrella and go. Oh, you want me to catch a cold? It's just, it's really hard trying to get a nanny. But then, let me scratch that. This is a nanny that is like a semi-professional. Well, I'll just say mother's help.
Because there are different types of nannies, right? So you've got the professional nanny who would obviously would I say qualified, or what would
they would be qualified?
What would you class as professional?
Professional would be they have the qualification. They've gone to the, I think it's the NVA qualification. I can't remember what exactly. They must have. But they're more expensive than the mother's help ones.
Sorry to cut you. If say for example, right, as a new mom, okay, what
Yeah.
options did you think you had available to you? Did you research all the childcare options that you had before you went back to work? And
Oh
were
yeah.
you comfortable with what you chose at first, or would you have gone for something else?
That's a good question, because when I went back to work with Lulu, so I'd use my most recent baby, who's 3 years old now. But when I went back to work with Lulu, she was 10 months old. So I felt like I could have a nanny, a living nanny, because she's 10 months old and her sister was going to school as well. So what I needed was someone who could bring the sister to school and have the baby with her at home.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And then pick her sister up from school as well. I think that one of the cons with nannies, they're very unreliable, especially that kind of nanny.
Yeah.
They're very unreliable.
Yeah.
So today they might call you and say, oh, I'm sick.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be leaving, but because they go home at the weekends,
Yeah.
they won't come back on the Monday.
Yeah.
I had a nanny. I'll tell you, in 2018 over into 2019. Well, yeah, I had 5 nannies.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were just dropping like flies, like from the time I returned to work. And the stress it gives you when you have to look for a new nanny, or even if you have an agent, you have to interview new nannies.
Yeah.
I feel the effort it takes to have a nanny, it just erodes. That the stress that you have when you have nannies, living nannies, it erodes the savings that you get, because
childcare is one of my biggest outgoings, because sometimes when you look at how much you pay, you think, what's the point actually even,
working?
You might as well just sit at home until your kids get to school age, where you're not paying that much for childcare.
I so honestly, when you reached out to me about this topic, I feel like we need to talk more about the cost of childcare, especially for women before they have children. Correct. Because that's one thing that people do not understand. Like, I never even knew that there would be costs. I'd have to think about the fact that should I keep working, or should I keep paying this huge amount of childcare to someone else to take care of my child?
Yeah. So what would you say if, let's turn back the hands of time, right? Just to end this video.
Okay.
New mom, baby's on the way. What would your childcare option be, considering your pros and cons, including cost?
Childminder.
Childminder. Okay, there you go.
Childminder. I'm biased though. I love childminders. I tend to become friends with my childminders, but they have their. Sorry. Yes, childminders. Yeah.
All right, bro. Cool. Anyways, thanks guys for watching this video. We would post a part 2 on both our channels as well. So if you want to get into more, what's the word? If you want to hear more about childcare, come back from part 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.